You are live with the App Show. Mike Agerbo here in studio with John Beeler. We've got a cool show today. We'll be talking later on about app-integrated home alarm systems. If you've been looking for a security system or thinking of switching, we're going to go through a few of the virtual and app-based ones for your house. We'll also be talking about EV dongles to test your electric vehicle for battery health. And finally, all the apps that an electric vehicle owner should download. Let's get into some of the news this week, John. Looks like Apple is launching a public beta for their Apple Watch that includes their sleep tracking feature that they've been talking about.
Yeah, this is the first time they've actually done the public betas with the Watch OS, and this is available now. And it's I think it's pretty cool. It gives people. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I actually became a developer, was to get access to some of this stuff early, because generally with the Apple betas, they're pretty solid by the time they get to the public beta stage. They're typically one or two releases behind the developer side of things, and so far, definitely with the watchOS 7 beta, it's been very solid, and I haven't had any problems at all with it.
Well, I know a lot of people have been waiting for the sleep tracking. I mean, there are sleep tracking apps available for Apple Watch, but this is the first time that Apple's kind of baked it into their operating system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it doesn't, like we talked about before in previous episodes, it doesn't seem to really have a huge hit on the battery. It seems to turn everything down to the absolute bare minimum just to do what it needs to do when it's tracking your sleep.
Very cool. Google Maps finally works with Carplay in the best way. I think it's been available for a while, but not as integrated as the base Apple Maps has been.
Yeah, so by default in CarPlay, in your car, when you plug in your phone, you could choose, and this is a fairly recent thing that Apple did, is you could choose your third-party app provider, whether it's Google, Waze, or something else. But there was a neat little thing that they introduced in the last update for iOS 13. It's called dashboard mode, where it allows you to have basically a tile for your map, and then it would also have little tiles for things like your calendar or your navigation, or sorry, your whatever song is playing right now, for example. But that only worked with Apple Maps. To do anything like that, you would basically have to go into your music playback system, play a song, or use Siri to do that, and then just go to a full screen Google Maps. But now you can actually have a couple different things on the screen at once in their dashboard mode, which is a nice feature for people that maybe don't want to use Apple Maps and want to use Google or Waze or something else.
It's just funny with car stereos, John. I remember back in the day, that was a large business. The stereo shops, basically selling millions of dollars of car stereos like the Alpines and the Pioneers. And that's pretty well dead now, really, because, most of these new cars come with the stock stereo, as they do with the screen. And you either run the Apple CarPlay version on there if you've got an iPhone, or Android Auto if you've got an Android phone. So there's no real huge need to upgrade your car stereo anymore.
No, and that's the thing, is I think unless you're running an older car that doesn't have that stuff, that would be the only reason. So I imagine, kind of like point and shoot cameras, that market's getting pretty dried up. But I did notice something kind of annoying. Like, I have a brand new car. I have a beautiful 10.25 screen. And when I use CarPlay on it, it only uses about 2/3 of the screen. The other third of the screen is controllable or customizable for whatever the car shows. But apparently that's just a limitation of CarPlay and Android Auto. My car's navigation system itself and all the other things, I can go full screen, full width, no problem. But I can't do that because of sort of the constraints that Apple and Google have on their systems as well. So it's kind of strange, kind of annoying. I'd like to have a full screen Google Maps or the dashboard mode that we just talked about on my full big giant display, but I can only get basically 2/3 of it.
Yeah, it's just funny now. Like, who else can even get into the car stereos anymore? It's just between Apple and Google.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, but it seems like all the car manufacturers are still trying to roll their own. They all still have their own sort of app stores for things like that. Like we talked about that with GM and our good friend Ted Kratonos about how GM has like their own little app store where you can actually download the Alexa app and that kind of thing for the newer vehicles that they have as well. So they're still trying to have something there, and there definitely is a lot of integration in some of these apps that are in the car for doing everything like controlling your climate control to locking and unlocking your doors and those types of things that you still need sort of like the car specific app to control. And it does have some integration into these touch screens.
Good point. Another story we're following, this is interesting, John. Wireless charging is dramatically less efficient than charging with a cord. Like I don't have to be a scientist to figure that out, but it is actually dramatic. It's like twice as inefficient.
But I also wondered if it, what's the long range impact of using that system to charge versus the cord, right? Is there some battery degradation that happens over time? Because some of these chargers, they make your phone heat up, because you just don't know who made them. I just bought a new one at IKEA recently. IKEA has all kinds of wireless charging options now that you can integrate into your furniture and that kind of thing. And they're super convenient and they're really inexpensive. Like you can get a charging pad itself for like $10. You just throw it on a coffee table or whatever and you're good to go. But I just wonder if there's a benefit to using cable versus wireless as far as the health of the battery.
Yeah, we'd have to look into that. I'm not quite sure. I guess another big thing to look at is because they're so inefficient, like how much extra juice are they having to, put out? And when you look at how many smartphone devices there are in the world, I think there's like 3.5 billion smartphones out there. And so if everyone starts going to wireless charging, that's a lot more power plants that they have to make. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm also annoyed because I have a couple of those chargers that they don't have like the guides, and if you have it on the charger just a little off, you're not actually charging. So
I know. I had this really cool one that I had on my nightstand. You lay the phone right down on top of it, and it just drove me crazy. I don't even know why I kept it so long, because if I didn't have it perfectly on there, I'd wake up in the morning with a dead phone.
Yeah,
but I find the newer ones though, they're better.
Yeah, they have a bigger pad, if you will, or bigger zone that you can drop it onto. I've seen some pretty interesting new ones now that actually it's a bigger pad, and the charging system will actually find your phone on the pad and lock onto it and give all its juice to it. So
yeah, I've been trying out the Belkin ones. They are the best. They just work every single time, no matter what kind of case I have on them, no matter where I put it on the charging pad, it just works.
I think part of the problem though is whenever I'm taking it off or putting it back on the charging pad, it's like 3:00 in the morning in the dark. So
you're putting it on your cat.
I think so. Yeah.
Let's talk podcasting. We to do our radio show and our podcasts, we've been enamored with one from a company called the Rodecaster Pro. It's a bit pricey. I think it's up in like getting close to $1,000 for it, but boy, it is fantastic. Zoom, which is a big company as well that makes audio gear. They've not related
to the video conferencing people.
Not at all. They have a new one that's coming out called the PodTrack P4. And this thing is awesome because the one we're using right now, it's like the size of a giant textbook, if not a little bit bigger. This one here fits in the palm of your hand.
Yeah, the Rodecaster that we use now is a giant mixer, basically.
Yeah.
It definitely dramatically changed our workflow for producing the radio shows. But, when we go on the road and stuff like that, you got to drag this thing around. So it's getting a little beat up because you haven't bought a case for it yet.
I know. Every time you come over and you look at it, you just shake your head.
Yeah.
At how poorly I've been looking after this little guy. But it takes a beating. Keeps
Yep. Note to the audience, never lend anything to Mike.
Or put it in bubble wrap.
But this PodTrack thing looks really cool. It gives us a lot of the features that we use in a really small form factor. You can have up to 4 microphones plugged into it. It's got a tiny little display, so you can actually see the levels and that kind of thing. You have little dials for the microphone levels, and it runs on batteries. So this will be great for whenever we do start traveling again and we need to go to CES, and we just need to drag some microphones with us and this tiny little thing, as opposed to basically filling up half of our suitcase with the Rodecaster.
Yeah, what I liked about this one as well is got USB ports, so you can plug in a laptop and take Skype calls and Zoom calls and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it has Bluetooth built into it.
Yeah.
Which was a big feature.
And it's very affordable. Looks like it's going to be about 170 US, so 220 Canadian.
Yeah.
That's significantly cheaper. I mean, that's just for the bare bones device itself. You still need to add microphones and probably a memory card and that type of thing as well. But for portable on the go podcasting or radio production, I think it's going to be great for us.
Don't forget to enter our contest at GetConnectedMedia.com. All you have to do is sign up for our newsletter and you are entered to win. We are giving away an awesome prize. It's from Samsung, a Samsung Galaxy A71 smartphone. This thing's worth about $550. Great camera on it, really great screen as well. And we're giving a few away this month. Again, GetConnectedMedia.com. Hit the newsletter tab and enter to win. When we come back, we've got a whole bunch more to talk about here on the App Show. Today, we will be talking about the latest integrated or app-integrated home alarm systems, and also a bit on electric vehicles, everything from the apps you should download to checking your battery health as well, using a special little device that anyone can purchase. You're listening to the App Show here on the Chorus Radio Network. Back after this. You're back with the App Show. Mike and John here. If you get a chance and you're into electric vehicles, you've been thinking about getting one now or maybe in the near future, we did a really great program yesterday on the Get Connected radio show, all about electric vehicles and what to look for, things like charging and maintenance. You can listen to it and watch it, the video podcast, up on our website, getconnectedmedia.com. Wanted to just kind of take that a bit further, John. You came across a few little devices, little dongles, they're called, that you can plug into an electric vehicle to actually check the battery health. And I think this will become more and more important as there becomes a larger used car market for electric vehicles. If you're purchasing one, you'll probably want to know what the battery health is. Like, how much longer does it have?
Yeah, I mean, just sort of step back a little bit. These dongles work on any car, EV or gas powered, going back, I think, to 1996. They all have what's called an ODB2 port, and it kind of looks like an old style printer port. It's right underneath your steering wheel, typically. Kind of tucked under the dash a little bit, and you plug these dongles into that, and then they, depending on which one you get, they either have Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, and you can get apps to sort of check in on the health of the computer that's in all of these cars, EV or otherwise, going back into the late 90s. And I got one a long time ago because I kept having a problem. I had a fairly new car, and you keep getting those check engine lights, and there might be a code that would pop up that the dealership would then have to go and sort of plug in something, figure out what it is, and get that information. These gadgets do that for you. You plug it in, you pair it with your smartphone, and then your smartphone app will tell you what that code is. And like for me, I had a very stupid reason why I kept getting these check engine light warnings, because I had my gas door wasn't fully closed and sealed properly, and so that was an alert. But I had a brand new car. I'm like, what did I do wrong? And I have to go back to the dealer, which is a big pain. You can buy these things as cheap as like $10 online. What you're looking for is typically an ELM 327 interface, ELM 327. And if you're on Android, you're going to get the Bluetooth one. If you're on iOS, you're going to get the Wi-Fi one. There's a number of apps depending on the device that you're using. And when this got kind of revisited is when I got my EV, and I was starting to read on the forums about people buying older EVs. And they really wanted to know on the dealership lot what the state of those batteries were, because some of these cars are older, but they still run great and they still have good range. But is the battery severely degraded because it's been driven hard and put away wet, kind of thing? And so these little guys, and they come in all different shapes and sizes. This is the iCar Pro. You can get this on Amazon for about $25, and it's tiny. This will allow you to use a different app depending on your car. Torque and Torque Pro are the typical ones that people use on the Android side. There's a bunch of different ones on the iOS side. But for my Kia EV, they actually have Kia Soul EV Spy. It's an app you can download. And so what people are doing is they're buying these little dongles before they buy the EV. They're going to the dealership, they're test driving the car, and while they're doing their test drive, they pop the dongle in and they can actually get a full screen health report on that particular car's battery and everything else about it, which is really cool.
Do you think the dealers like this?
I don't know. I think the people deserve to be informed when they're making a purchasing decision, and this is definitely something that the dealer can't lie about because the car is telling you this information. A lot of these EVs will have some kind of health meter or something in the car, but it's really high level. It's not going to tell you the details. What I found with the Kia one is that it actually shows all of the cells in the battery, which is basically the bottom of most EVs. The entire bottom of the car is just a giant battery, but it's made up of lots of cells. I forget how many. It depends on the car and the size and everything like that, but let's say dozens of cells, of battery cells, and it'll tell you which ones are bad or damaged or degraded, not even working anymore, and their health level as well. It tells you how many charge cycles the car's had, those types of things. That's the kind of information that the sales guy's not going to know. And the only way to get that is to plug in one of these devices. And, in the dealership, they would have a bigger computer that would plug into it and they could get all this information. Whether they show you that and share that information with you when you're looking to buy it, that's debatable. That probably vary depending on the dealership, but why not be the informed consumer and get this information yourself directly from the car?
And available on places like Amazon.
Yeah, it's even cheaper if you buy it from AliExpress or eBay. You can get these things for $10. You just might have to wait a month for it to be shipped to you.
$10, a small price to pay. Well, we're going to have to take a break here on the App Show. When we come back, we'll be talking about some of our favorite electric vehicle apps that we use. Good for all of them and some specific ones, for example, for Tesla. You're listening to the App Show here on the Chorus Radio Network. Back after this. You're back with the App Show. Mike Agerbo here with John Beeler. Still more to talk about on today's program. Later, we'll be talking about some of the smart home alarm systems that you might want to check out. Right now, we want to talk about apps, and specifically apps for electric cars. And John, you've recently purchased a new Kia Soul.
People are probably tired of me talking about it.
Well, we get a little content out of it.
Yes.
What are some of the apps that you've come across so far?
So the main one that I've started using, just because I just love how well detailed and community sourced the information is, it's called PlugShare. And it's kind of like Yelp for electric chargers. It shows you all the chargers everywhere. You can just press a button and it'll zoom into your location and show you the nearest ones. And then you can tap on one and it'll give you all the details about it, like what kind of charge connector is it? Is it compatible with your vehicle? It'll tell you the last time people checked into it. So it's kind of like Yelp, kind of like Foursquare, kind of like those kinds of apps where you're checking in and leaving comments about, oh, well, this charger's damaged, so don't use it, kind of thing. Or there's no power coming to this thing, so they've turned it off for whatever reason. But also lots of things like, how much it is per hour, what kind of kilowatt rating it has, all those types of things. And just information specifically about what's around there too. Like, so you're in the middle of some industrial park. Is there a place to go get some food while you're waiting for your car to charge? That type of thing.
Yeah, those types of apps are fantastic. I have a Tesla, so of course there's the Tesla superchargers, but they are far and few between. So I use like the ChargePoint chargers that are around town. So I use the ChargePoint app, but it only obviously just shows their network, which
Right.
it's good though, because, you get ratings for the different charging stations around, and it'll also tell you if it's busy or not, which is so handy.
Yeah. That's the nice thing, is that the real-time feedback with the ChargePoint one, because it's actually connected to their network. The PlugShare one doesn't have that, but you can also sort of see from some of the comments, people tend to be regulars for some of these things. So they'll say that, this is busier after hours, or, those types of comments can tell a lot about the place.
No, very, very cool. Like it's a must-have for that. If you are a Tesla owner, one that's very popular, obviously the one that comes with the car, but there's another one that goes for about $20. It's called Remote for Tesla, and this kind of takes the Tesla app to the next level, just as far as like the statistics and the type of information you can get on charging your Tesla with the battery, how many kilometers you've gone, how many kilometers you got on the last charge. It really gets down there for the the stats nerds that really want to kind of dig in and find out exactly what's happening with their car. It's also got some really cool integration with Apple Watches as well, so you can get all sorts of information from there, and even use it to use Siri to do different commands to the car, like turn the climate control on and off.
That's really cool.
I think so. Yeah, that's kind of one of the things I've enjoyed with the Tesla, and even with the base one that comes with the car. It's nice in the wintertime that I can be inside here and basically say, turn the temperature up in the car to 24.
Yeah, so you walk out to it and it's perfectly comfortable.
Exactly. I don't have to go out and do it like a sucker, like the old-fashioned way. Any other apps that you come across, John?
Yeah, one app that comes up a lot, and this is probably good for people that are even considering to buy an EV. It's called A Better Route Planner, and it's available for iOS and Android, and it's free. You can create an account for it, and I think there is some in-app purchase options as well. But what it does is, say you want to figure out, how am I going to get from my house in the Lower Mainland to my cabin in the Shuswap? What do I need to do to get there can I get there on one charge? Probably not with most EVs. How many stops do I need to make? The times I need to stop, and how long I need to stay at that charger. So it can actually really streamline your trip. So it'll say, well, stop in Abbotsford and charge for 20 minutes, and then drive again until you get to this charger somewhere else in Merritt, and then charge there for 40 minutes. And then you'll get there with plenty of charge, and then it'll show you where at your destination the nearest charger is. This sounds great in theory, because it does the full mapping for you, taking into account charge times, optimal charge times, and even things like how busy some of these chargers can be. But I found that the app is just a little on the flaky side. And I thought at first, okay, maybe this is because I'm using iOS 14. And then I installed it on Android. It was actually worse on the Android side. It just didn't feel as polished as I was hoping to. And, we're all kind of spoiled with Google Maps and even some of the navigation systems in our cars too. But it needs a couple more revisions, I think, before I'd be fully happy with it. But it does give you the information you need. The problem is that it's hard to add a brand new vehicle as well. And I think that might have been part of my problem, is that some of these apps, they don't handle brand new vehicles that aren't even in the systems yet. So you have to sort of pick last year's model instead. And it's not truly accurate because it doesn't know how big your battery is and that your range and that kind of stuff too. So that might be part of the problem that I've been experiencing. But I just found that the app itself was just a little flaky in a couple spots.
Well, those were some of the EV apps we're looking at right now. We're going to have to take a break. When we come back, we will be looking at home alarm systems, especially nowadays. A lot of these ones you can kind of install yourself. Some can be monitored as well, so we'll check those out. You're listening to the App Show here on the Chorus Radio Network. Back after this. You're back with the App Show. Mike and John here. Going to talk security now. So many companies in the past few years have come out with all sorts of kind of do-it-yourself security cams and alarm systems. Some very popular ones, from Netgear and their Arlo security cams. There's also TP-Link and D-Link. All the, the router companies came out with these a while back, John, and made it super simple for people to hook them up.
Yeah, you can typically buy a kit, and you buy the kit depending on how big of a space you want to secure. So how many cameras do you need? Are they indoor, outdoor, etc.?
Well, some of these are now getting a little more integrated with what we would typically think of an alarm system with a keypad and everything. The big telecoms here in Canada, Bell, they bought Alarm Force back a little while ago and integrated that in with their whole offering. And Telus recently last year, I think in October, bought ADT, the big security system here in Canada as well. So obviously an important I guess part of their bundles as these things become more and more integrated with smart homes and internet connectivity. And Telus, obviously here in Western Canada, is they've gone hard into this. They are really promoting a lot of bundles now. You get internet, TV, and security. And I know, John, you just recently was looking at a Telus bundle.
Yeah, because basically the TV, internet, and security bundle is pretty compelling if that's something that you're looking for. Because on their own, some of these packages start at about $18 a month just for the security stuff. So if you can find a bundle that'll knock a few bucks off that, the total cost of getting all those services all together in one place, I think it just really boils down to what level of integration in home security are you looking for. Do you want to have someone, come by if the alarm is triggered, like a security service, or have it call the cops, that type of thing? Or are you happy just getting notifications on your phone from a webcam or something else that's set up around your house that's been triggered by a motion sensor or by the camera movement itself?
Yeah, it's a good question, and that's a challenge. If you do have these things wired in, the old ones were wired into the cops, right?
Yeah.
And now the cops don't want to answer them because there's just so many false alarms, and they actually charge you for it. I remember, the RCMP coming out when my alarm went off, and I think we got charged for it. So, nowadays they go to an alarm center. With Telus, for example, they've got, the old ADT folks there, I guess. I don't know how that integration happened, but, if you do have a monitored package, the call would go to them basically, and then they would ascertain, whether to call the cops or not if they can't contact you.
Right. I think what a lot of people might be considering for the first time, though, is these standalone devices that are fully integrated on their own, because then you're not tied to the carrier, for example, for everything. So, Ring from Amazon has a lot of security products that are pretty compelling and pretty inexpensive too. Everything, the video doorbell, which you and I both have and love, and being able to integrate that into other cameras that are out exterior and interior, and then the alarm system for your things like windows and doors and that type of stuff as well.
Yeah, and they're pretty cheap actually. I'm using the Ring system in my home, and I have to say, we try out a lot of this gear, John, and I've been really pleasantly surprised with the Ring stuff that it actually works. Like, I don't have to monkey around with it ever. It just continues to work. So I've got, a few cameras around the outside of the house, the Ring doorbell as well. And now I'm looking at their Ring security system. You get the keypads and the door sensors and the window sensors, because I'm just comfortable at how well it worked for me. Yeah. So the nice thing is, if you want monitoring, it's just, I think, about $100 a year, which is pretty cheap.
That's very cheap. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cheap enough that you're not even going to think about it, as opposed to some of these other alarm systems where they have the security teams coming by and stuff that costs a lot more per month.
The neat thing with Ring as well, and it's something to look for if you are looking for, an alarm ecosystem, I'll call it, what kind of stuff do they have? What kind of cameras? How are you controlling this? Is it through an app? Do they got a little control screen? Does it work with other stuff? With the Ring ecosystem, John, I didn't even know this, but they are actually compatible and work with a number of other companies as well. Like, I have a bunch of Leviton light switches in my house, for example, and apparently it works with the system, which is kind of cool. And there's a lot of smart locks that will work with the system as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just makes it so much easier when you can monitor your stuff from, a Google Mini or or Google Nest Hub, an Alexa Echo, for example, any of those type of devices, to be able to see the cameras, be notified on your phone or your watch that, someone's triggered something, and then you can, click through and investigate it. You've got cloud recording for the video. So you've got the video evidence if you need it, that type of stuff, and just being able to watch stuff. But I got into a lot of the stuff because I just wanted to be able to sort of keep tabs on my cat while I was in the office. And, you can do that really inexpensively too. And these things work for security. They have motion sensing alerts that you can set up as well. And some of them are actually smart enough to know the difference between a cat and, a burglar. And you can get like a Wise camera, for example. We talk about those all the time. They're like $30 on Amazon, and you just put it up somewhere, your main entranceway or something like that. I love the Ring video doorbell because it's basically the front door to your house, and that probably be the main way people would get in. And anytime someone comes by, or a courier company comes to deliver something, I can talk with them if I need to and tell them to just put it, in the bushes or whatever. Yeah. That kind of thing. But, it just really depends on how much you want to spend and what level of integration. We also have talked about Safe by hub6.io. They have a little system you can actually plug into an existing alarm system. Say you have an older system that is not appified, and this basically removes that monthly subscription fee and gives you an app on your phone so you can tie into your home alarm system as well.
That's kind of cool. And yeah, we have covered that on Global TV as well. And people that have installed it just love it. They've got, their old alarm system that they've, had an investment in, and obviously it's all wired already. So being able to make it smart with this one simple device is a godsend. So, if you want to check that one out, hit their website, Safe by Hub6, and see if your alarm system's compatible. Ring also has a little device like that as well, John.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I did not know that either. But, that's the thing, if you're looking for these alarm systems, a few things to check out. Number one, cameras and video doorbells. These things are great for seeing what's going on. But, other things like motion detectors, can it be retrofit with your old alarm system? Can it be integrated with smoke detectors or, water and flood detectors as well? The better that the ecosystem's built out, I think the more, things you'll be able to do with it, and better security it'll be for your house.
Absolutely, yeah. And like you pointed out, the nice thing is that a lot of the stuff is a lot less expensive now than it ever used to be. Well, for a couple $100, you can totally secure your entire house.
Yeah, and if you do want it monitored, keep that in mind. It might look like a good deal, but if you're paying like $30 or $40 a month, that's a lot of money. A lot of times you're paying that much, they're including the equipment cost in that price. So keep that in mind. But the monitoring cost is a big thing. Again, Ring, I think, is about $100 a year. That Safe by Hub6 device that works with your existing alarm, they've got plans starting at $10 a month, which, is pretty affordable as well. So something to check out. Okay, we're going to have to take another break. Don't forget to hit our website. We've got all sorts of great content up there, the latest tech reviews, news, again, GetConnectedMedia.com. And if you want a chance to win a great Samsung Galaxy A71 smartphone, all you have to do is subscribe to our newsletter. It's that simple. Just hit the newsletter tab, again, at GetConnectedMedia.com. When we come back from the break, more apps to talk about here on The App Show. Stay tuned. You're back with The App Show. Mike and John here. Don't forget to hit our website, getconnectedmedia.com. We've got a great contest, Samsung Galaxy A71 smartphone. We're giving some away this month. Again, getconnectedmedia.com, and hit the contest page. One quick app before we go, John. This is kind of interesting. Google's Lookout app is now available in Canada with some new updates. And so for people that are low vision or blind, this is fantastic. They'll be able to use the camera on their Android smartphone to actually identify their surroundings. So it's got sensors and AI to help recognize all sorts of things that are in the field of view of the camera, and also things like a food mode, and it can scan documents and read them back.
Yeah, this allows them to, literally point their camera at some money, and it'll tell them what the currency is and how much is in their hand. You can also scan food labels as well when you're in the grocery store.
Well, that's fantastic. That would be a godsend for, obviously someone that's completely blind. And again, I love the text feature. If you had a document, you got some mail, you can basically just, use the app and use the camera on your smartphone to scan that document in with a click and have it read it back to you.
All the scanner people are worried.
Oh, the scanner people. Yeah, I guess that's another tech item that is probably on a decline.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine. Again, our website, getconnectedmedia.com. We've got our contest up there, but also lots of other great content. First looks of new tech gear, smartphones, smart home stuff, and also the latest tech news as well, and easy to understandable little bites. I want to thank everyone that helps put the show together, including John, my co-host, and our producer, Christina, and the rest of the folks back at the ranch. We'll see you again next time.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube page. And you know that little bell icon? Hit that and you'll be notified every time we post a new video. And comment. The more comments and the more likes and subscriptions we get, the more videos we can make.